What's going on, everybody? It is episode 6 on the Healthcare CEO podcast, and I'm your host, Hans Fakir. I got a special guest that's coming today. He is, I don't know if he wants people to be known as a millionaire, but he's one of the mayors of Atlanta. Like, he's pretty known in Atlanta, and he's very authentic. Started his own home care business and is a huge success, and now he has business endeavors all through Atlanta. Special guest and also my business partner at And Cheese, located in Lenox Mall, my man Jonathan Gooch. Let's go. My team don't clap. I just clap for myself.
Hey, what up? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, my guy. How you?
Doing amazing.
All right, cool, man. Listen, it's the Healthcare CEO podcast. Of course, we are blessed to have you on here. On the Healthcare CEO podcast, it's 10% motivation, 90% information.
Cool.
We want people to leave here and say, who is that guy? and also, you giving them step by steps, because we know we could give them as much information as we want. They're still going to need you on how to become maybe the next Jonathan Gooch, right? Maybe the next home care business. Because I met this dude 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
We did our first. I met him at a speaking engagement. Oh, and you think this is far? Heron Bay was like another country. Candace had us out there.
Yeah, that was far.
Yeah, and I will tell you guys real quick. Back then, Modest Gooch had a couple motorcycles, and I met you with a Range Rover. Now he owns 3 Lamborghinis. You know, what is those doom buggy things?
Oh, yeah, side by side.
Side by side, lives in a big old mansion in Buckhead. But we're going to get to all that, man. I want, again, thank you for that. And tell people, again, who you are.
I mean, it's super simple. I'm just I guess I want to say now things have changed. So things have changed from when I used to say now. I'm just a humble guy that follows God's path. And now I just try to help as many people as I can. I mean, that's simply as what it is today.
Yeah, what were you doing?
Have a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, now, y'all follow this dude's Instagram.
Yeah,
he is, if he responds to a text message, you'll be lucky, because he's usually skiing, jet skiing.
I'm really bad with responding, especially
I love it though, man. But you know what? You're not like phony with it, because it ain't like, you know, you're not responding and I see you on Instagram not doing nothing. You know, it's one thing to be like, dang, you just posted, you're eating. No, you're out actually skiing. And
I do better with answering when you call and text me now.
Thank God, because I'm your business partner. But yeah, what got you into home care though? What were you doing before that?
So my story is very simple. I was a tattoo artist for about 10 years. While going through college. My degree is actually in healthcare administration. Okay. So I ended up getting my bachelor's from Clayton State University. Because like everybody else, when I was in high school, I had the dream of like being a neurosurgeon, but I think I was more in love with telling people like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a neurosurgeon. So I guess I fell in love with saying it. And then when I got to high school and seeing like how high school was going, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a neurosurgeon no more. Then I ended up changing into getting on the other side of being in healthcare, on not being clinical, but more on the business side. Because when you really think about it, healthcare is everything. Mm-hmm. I tell people this all day long. Like, why not bet on healthcare if you could bet on anything? Because no matter what goes, no matter what motivation, no matter what you're focused on, if you're not healthy, then you can't accomplish any of that. So why not be on the side of making sure that people are healthy enough and have the tools and different things like that to be able to accomplish their goals? Because I don't care what Elon Musk do or what Trump do or what war we're going through, like healthcare, you have to have it, because if not, then none of us are here. So I thought about that when I was in high school, and then I decided to go for healthcare administration. And from that side, that's when I ended up becoming a tattoo artist my senior year in high school. And then I was basically a tattoo artist throughout my whole schooling. And it took me 10 years to actually graduate from college with a bachelor's.
Dang!
Yeah, with a bachelor's.
So if he could do it, anybody can.
Yeah, no, definitely that. Oh, no, I didn't really want to even graduate with my degree. What ended up happening was my mom wanted me to graduate with a degree. And then another reason it took me 10 years, because the first year I ended up taking out loans. And then after that, my mom was like, yeah, we're not doing these loans anymore. Because after 1 year of loans, it was like $27,000 in loans. Dang. And that's just to go to Clayton State University. Like, that wasn't even like, no.
Shout out to Clayton State.
I love it. But that wasn't even like a big giant school or anything. So my mom was like, yeah, you're not going to be graduating in 3 years after the first year and have $100,000 loan. So she was like, well, let's just stretch it out. Like, she was like, I could pay for like 1 class, 2 class, 3 classes, like every semester.
Did it really take 10 years?
Yeah, no. I graduated when I was 27. I started college when I was 17. Damn. So, so every year every semester, some semesters I would just do 1 class. Some semesters I would do 2 or 3 classes.
Yeah.
And, but I did do, like I said, my freshman year, I did that as a full load. But then after that, it took 10 years for me to graduate. So
that's dope, though.
Yeah, I mean,
because you didn't stop.
Yeah, no, I didn't stop. I'm like one of those people. Once I kind of start something, I kind of got to see it through.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So so that's what ended up happening. So being a tattoo artist, in the city, that was super fun. I had some really, really great nights, long days. Late mornings, but that's pretty much just how I started. Then once I graduated with my degree, then Brad, and then Brad came to me because I met him when I was riding motorcycles at 19 years old, and he was doing he wasn't doing home health care. He was doing what's the one where you have like the homes and have people staying in the homes?
Oh, like the not boarding homes, but I know what you're talking
about. But the homes where he had like individuals that had needs like stay at the house. And then he ended up switching to what we do now, like 2 years maybe before I graduated.
Shout out to Brad and Chonda.
Oh, definitely love Brad Chonda. So, but then at that time, he was like, Gooch, when you graduate, you have to start your company. So he like forced me to start my company around, like as soon as I graduated, then I ended up putting in my paperwork for the company. And back then it took like a year plus to actually like get approved, and back then you had to have like certain insurances. So I put in the paperwork to do it the first year. 9 months later, they came back and denied me because I didn't have like the right insurances.
Gotcha.
So then I had to submit. But even back then, when they denied me, I was like, "Fuck this!" Like I basically gave them the middle. I said, well, this must be God telling me that like this isn't for me if I got denied. So but then I was like, all right, let me just do this all over again. Then I did it over again, and now we're here.
And you saw Brad was living though.
Oh man, Brad, look, I seen Brad go from like driving like a Miata to staying in like the Atlantic, like the 52nd floor, like penthouse joint, like driving like all these crazy cars within like a year and a half. So I was like, oh, something's about this. Something's going on.
And that was what year?
That had to be like 2016, 2017.
So this was before COVID, when everybody now was trying to do the home care.
Yeah.
Like you and Brad was in it and made it popular.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And shout out to Brad, but you actually came up with the, hey, I'm going to bless everybody with what I know mentality.
Yeah, we definitely have made it popular. Like, it wasn't, me and Brad have helped hundreds. To us together, helped hundreds of people open up.
Yeah, I'm one of y'all mentees.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out. So now, Brad helped you say, okay, tattoo, side piece.
Yeah.
Home care is going to be my main piece. What is a home care business?
So a home care business is essentially where the easiest way I tell people, the easiest way for them to be able to digest it is we're just like a medically trained nanny service. That's the easiest way I can tell people. Or like, we're one of those services where, what do they call them?
Staffing agencies?
Yeah, medically trained staffing agency, essentially. Because when you look at like a staffing agency, what do staffing agencies do? They go get contracts, which to us would be go get contracts either from the hospitals or from the nursing homes, and then they have staff that they connect to the organizations, and between there they make money off of every hour that they're inside whatever organization they're working for. So the same thing with us, we go get contracts, and then we have staff, and the middleman, we just connect the two. So it's super simple.
So you find RNs, LPNs, and CNAs, and you put them with people like who?
Yeah, so we put them with individuals. Typically, we put them with individuals that cannot take care of themselves, or we put them with individuals that have something that they cannot do inside the home, whether it's them not being able to bathe or wake up in the morning and put on their clothes, or even all the way to a kid or a kid on adult that's like trach invented that have machines that need to be monitored 24/7.
So how does that work? So if I'm a nurse and I go, hey, Jonathan, I got a pediatric patient, and the patient needs somebody at the house, because the parents, we don't know what we're doing.
Yes.
So then you do what? The patient has a trach, vent, or they're just ill?
Yeah. So at that point, we have to do an intake. So I will essentially do intake over the phone, where we'll have our nurse call them, pull information, and then we try to find a nurse that have the requirements to be able to take care of that patient. Because you got certain nurses that love doing certain things. So when you think about trach and vent, that's kind of like a heavy case. Those a lot of breathing machines, things go wrong, and a lot of nurses don't have the requirements to be able to actually take care of those patients. So we do a simple intake so we can figure out what's going on with the patient, so we can hire somebody to be inside the home that will actually be able to take care of the patient in the right way.
Is there anybody you won't take?
Yeah, I mean, in doing it as long as I have done it. Now, when I first started, I would take any patient. But now, after talking either to the spouse, the parents, or the kids of the patient that needs to be taken care of, I'm very selective now because, back when I first started, I would just kind of overpromise certain things, which would be something like, they'll be like, well, what about if the nurse has to counsel for a day, or if the nurse can't make it that day? I'd be like, we have a pool of nurses. We'll be able to, call another nurse. We'll figure it out. And then when it actually happens, and then you don't have that pool of nurse, the family is we've even had with a family we need care. I can't miss work today. I'm going to call Medicaid. I'm going to have them at your office. I mean, what the funny thing is, my mom works for me now. And she said this the other day. She was like, after doing this for my mom been working with me maybe 4 or 5 months now, she was like, I never knew people acted this way. And she was like, they would turn on you at the drop of a dime. And she'd be like, when I talk to them, everything be going good. They're nice. But as soon as one thing don't go their way, she was like, they just turn on you. And I'm like, yeah, see, Mom, I told you. I told her that. I told her not to be like that. But yeah, she learned the hard way.
That's crazy. And shout out to your mom. I love the fact that you could go back and pull somebody up and just bless them. And I know your mom's getting paid way more than she's supposed to. But listen, we had somebody before talk about the home care business, and she walked everybody through the step. Get the application, get this, get that. So we're not going to do that again.
Thank God.
Right? I know you wait. But what is one part of the process that sticks out to you that people should pay attention to?
The fingerprinting. So they're forever changing the fingerprinting process in the state of Georgia. They're forever changing the fingerprinting process for you to get fingerprinted. So what we used to do was you used to have to send them an email, then they email you back a password and username, and that take 2 to 3 weeks. Now they've changed the website, and it's just all bad business now. The way that you actually have to get fingerprinted through the process.
Yeah, because nothing's done through Gamus no more. It's through that.
Through third part, I don't know. It's just a headache.
I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. So.
Yes.
Now, you could have easily, Brad is your homeboy, though. Mm-hmm. So Brad blessed you. I'm going to put you on game, and you jumped on the home care.
Yes.
Right? You could have stopped, because when I met you, you was $1 million house.
Yeah.
Now you in a $3 million, whatever it's worth now.
Yeah.
But why, and I know people ask me this question with the ambulance stuff, why'd you say, I'm going to help other people out? Isn't that less business for you?
Well, it can be less business for me, but at the end of the day, that's why I charge people. Yeah, because I charge people to be able to, because you got to realize this. You get a lot of people that say, I want to do this to help the community. I'm like, well, if you want to do it to help the community, then why are you charging to be able to help the community? Or they'll be like, well, I'm not. I help X amount of people. I'm like, but you're charging all this other money to all these other people. So mine is just for profit. So I thought about it. I was like, I can help people change their lives, but they just have to pay me to be able to do it. And that's the simple thing about it. So that's why I my house got bigger, cars got more expensive and stuff like that. But now I really don't help that many people just because it became overwhelming. And I like spending time traveling and stuff like that. Business is doing good. And that's why I open up multiple businesses now. So I'm focused on home care, and I'm focused actually on opening up Foxtail Coffees, which we are opening up 2 or 3, 2 more now, and then we're looking at a 3rd location. But so it was financial, the reason why I did it.
But it didn't slow down the home care.
No, it didn't slow down the home care.
So the home care, and what people don't understand is when you get into a healthcare business, you just kind of tapped on it a little. It opened doors for everything else.
Yes.
So how many businesses do you own outside of the home care?
I still got the consulting business, and then I have Tiger,
which is what?
The club,
a nightclub.
Yeah,
so you own a nightclub,
which is super dope.
Yeah.
And then me and you still have and cheese.
We
together.
still have and cheese.
And then Foxtail Coffee.
Foxtail. So you got 4 businesses outside of, what's your home care called?
Next Step Healthcare.
Next Step. So one thing would you tell people, listen, focus on one thing, it opens doors for everything else?
Yeah, so the way that the people that I still help now, the new people that's coming in, I speak with like a lot of individuals that come in and they're trying to do too much at once. Like, I might speak to a young lady and she's like, I want to open up a salon and I want to sell clothes and I want to do this. Or I talked to a guy that, wants to own a club, but then wants to own the clothing brand. I'm like, have you ever heard the story that if you hit a tree in 1,000 different places, the tree will never come down, but if you hit a tree 1,000 times in the exact same place, you'll take the tree down? So I kind of say,
look at Gooch trying to draw gel. Let's go.
I mean, look, I've been doing this for a very long time.
You memorize that shit on the way up here.
Oh yeah, no,
that was dope though.
No, funny thing is, like, anytime I do podcasts or speak on stages or anything at all now, I don't prepare for them at all.
Yeah, no, neither do I. You've done it.
Yeah, I've done it a million times, and I think like sometimes when you prepare like a lot of stuff, like it's sometimes like disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like I like on the fly, like, hey, either you know it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's literally what it comes down
and this is who, like the Nike and all that. You probably will never catch him in really brand name. Gooch is more about cars and houses rather than, and Brad the same way. Like every once in a while I'll see y'all, Balenciaga, but for the most part, they're worried about flights. They got to be in first class or better.
Got to be in first class or Delta One.
They got to drive a Lamborghini or McLaren.
Definitely got to.
And so it is what he's saying. He is the way he comes, and that's how your energy is. Like, where'd you get that from?
Yeah, I mean, just from traveling and being around like some really good people and like some really really good friends and stuff like that. Because even like,
and your friends are diverse.
Yeah,
I see your Instagram. It's an Asian guy, a white guy.
Yeah,
it is.
And that's the reason why, because life is what people make it. Life is beautiful. I think a lot of people pay too much attention to the overall like making money, and they miss out on actual life. And then they surround themselves around people that are disingenuous to a certain extent. Because a while ago I was out on a date with a girl. And the thing is with her, like, she be on private jets. I mean, just like all over the world, like with all these like crazy people. And we're on the date. After the second date, she was like, I like that you're not into like name brand stuff. Like, she was like, I go out on dates with guys that have on like a $500,000 watch and like shirts that just got all this stuff on it and the shoes. And she was like, it's nice to actually be out with somebody who don't care about that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like that stuff don't make who I am. Because in the world that I've seen today, some people have to wear that stuff to hide who they are.
Yeah.
For the simple fact of it, they're like, they walk in the room and they're like, oh, I got on a $500,000 watch, or I got on a $250,000 watch, or I got on, a girl might be like, I got a $30,000 like Birkin bag, so I'm better than all you guys. And I'm like, yeah, but then when they hang out with people like me that don't care about none of that stuff, then they can't hold that
they
one
feel
up.
regular.
Yeah, they feel regular because a lot of people like basically kiss the ground they walk on. Because I've been with girls and a girl walk in with a super expensive bag and clothes and stuff, and she'll be like, oh my God, like look what she has on. I'm just like, she's just a regular person. But I've noticed a lot of those people like that are like kind of shallow.
Yeah.
Not saying all of them, because I've met people who like wear that stuff and like are amazing people, but a lot of people that wear that stuff are kind of shallow, because the people who really really are wealthy and really really have it, like they wear polo t-shirts.
But it also helps though that you could wear a Hanes t-shirt when you pull up in an $800 million Lambo. Now, let's talk about that Lambo you just bought 2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's amazing.
I'd be walking around not gut. $800 million, I can walk around doing whatever I want.
No, but the thing is, even
800,000.
Yeah, I'm about to say 800 million. Shit, that'd be crazy. But but no, I mean, but like I said, it's just like for me, for some people. Because I used to be like those people are like really shallow, like they're in life, they don't have real friends. But for some people that works, and I'm starting to like, I'm old enough now and been around enough people to say like, that works for some people. Like they actually enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with it. Me, I kind of more gravitate towards people that have hobbies and always pushing the limits of life and doing super fun things. Because like I said, some people you meet, they be like, I love sitting at home reading books. That's all they want to do. And, like, that's their life. And I've gotten out of trying to, project what I think my happiness is on other people. Because sometimes I meet people and they're like, oh, I don't really travel. I just spend time with my kids. And I'm like, no, you got to get out. You got to do this. That's life. And now I'm like, well, if that really make you happy, then
you call me and be like, yo, you going skiing? I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it.
But now in today's world, like, but I gravitate more towards people that are, like, doing extreme sports, have extreme hobbies. people that have
Experiences.
family, like experiences and stuff, because I connect really well with that. That's why I do everything I do.
But let me ask you this: because I've seen your flyers,
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of you with kids that are really in bad shape.
Yes.
Did that help you also look at? Well, I don't care about this Balenciaga. Like, did that
Yeah.
also play a part in it too? Because you've seen people that really don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the makeup of who I am, it's a lot of different things that kind of shaped me to be who I am today. But, I think some of the biggest things that I've seen shape me is being around people who don't have as much as I have, but on a day-to-day is living life and having more fun than I am. Because, once you start hanging around people, like, I be hanging around people like in Wisconsin or in Park City, Utah, that do like rock climbing and mountain biking.
Yeah.
And these people are just some of the most funnest, free-willed people. Like, they don't care what you have going on. They don't care if you're in a mansion or you
Yeah.
took a private jet. They're just like, bro, let's just have fun. Let's drink. Like, we're going to hang out. Let's do this fun sports and stuff. That along with the makeup of being around kids and individuals who don't care about none of that stuff and still have amazing lives. Because you look at it like, if I look at a kid who will never be on a private jet or never will own a Lamborghini or never will be able to walk. And then the simplicity of them getting a new toy kind of sends the direction of knowing who I am better, that I don't really need all this fancy stuff to enjoy life. The best times that I have, honestly, is me hanging out with my friends and just literally just talking shit like all day long.
Yeah,
like,
we've been to a couple of Brad's game nights.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah, like we literally just be talking shit. And then what else will make me fun is like me talking shit about other people with my friends. That's probably some of the funniest thing in the world.
Do not take that advice. Just sit there and talk shit. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, no, it just be funny. Like, we just be sitting there kicking the shit, just talking shit about
Yeah.
whatever the funniest thing that comes along is. That's what I find out. Like outside of all the stuff that I have, even if I was like to go broke today, it don't really matter, because like I find growth and happiness in the simplicity of things now.
And you know what's so funny is we all know the same people, kind of. You introduced me to a lot of heavy hitters in Atlanta. And I don't know if you remember this, though. When we first really took over and Cheese, we almost argued about who's going to be CEO, because none of us wanted it. I was like, yo, you can be CEO. You're like, all right, it's whatever. I was like, no, because neither of us cared about whose face or who was getting the recognition of the ownership. I was like, yo, I want you to be CEO. You're like, but I think your focus was just so, like, as long as we aligned it, we didn't care who the face was, as long as we make money.
Yeah.
Right? But now, what can someone who has a home care that's struggling, because we want to give people stuff that's tangible, what can you tell them to say, hey, this is what you need to do to really put your home care out there?
What I've noticed is when people are struggling, they hear a lot of ideas from a lot of people that's not qualified to be. So the first thing is, if you're struggling in any type of market, home health care, home care, you just need to take a look into finding people that are qualified to be able to give you some type of direction. But let's say if you don't have access to people that's qualified, let's just say you're doing it by yourself. I've met somebody recently that would be like, I talked to them literally about a month ago. They was like, hey, I'm going to fix my flyers. I'm going to fix my website. I'm going to get on the Google search. Then they was like, I'm going to go out and start marketing to like these different hospitals. I'm going to send emails out. I'm going to do Facebook marketing. I'm like, bro, like, how are you going to manage all that? So what I tell people is, if they're struggling, they need to focus on one, like the same thing I said, like hitting a tree 1,000 times in one place. Whichever way that you're going to do it, just focus on that one way. Whether it's either you say, hey, I'm going to do email marketing, then do email marketing and put everything that you have in email marketing. If you're going to do, like lunch and learns, then focus solely on whatever way that you're going to do versus trying to do 1,000 different things and only, getting 5% here, getting 10% here. So that's what I would tell them, like, just focus on one versus the many.
That's dope. That's really good advice. I'm going to pay attention to that, too, as well. What has been the success to your longevity? What has been the key?
Sacrifice for me.
Yo, and that's true, because when I first met you, you moved to the big house,
Yeah.
all your paperwork was on the floor. Like, that's how your file system was. Like, this dude was up nights making sure his billing was done.
Yeah.
So what do you want to comment on that?
So I tell people a lot. What I've seen a lot of people, old and young, is they want to live the same life that they're living now and be better, and that's almost impossible for us.
Yeah.
As human beings, we grow, and when we grow, we have to make changes. So I see people like, they're like, hey, I want to be like a healthcare CEO, or I want to be this doctor, I want to be this. But then they have like a lot of bad habits, which ends up turning into like they're drinking, they're smoking, they're partying.
And you don't drink.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I smoke a lot of hookah, which I need to cut that out. But but at the same time, you know, people like they want greatness, and they think that they can accomplish greatness by being the same person that they are today. And I think that's like one of the most foolish things that I've ever seen. Because, you know, like with energy, with transfer of energy, you have to give something to get something back. Yeah. Energy just doesn't go anywhere. Like, you have to be able to change. So I become a person that I fell in love with sacrifice, and I actually wear it as a badge on my shoulders and on my chest, because a lot of people can't sacrifice. Yeah. So I can like become a recluse and start sacrificing everything to be able to get to the next level. When I say sacrifice, I'm talking about sacrificing friends, sacrificing family, sacrificing everything. And that's one of the things of why I'm so successful today. It's just sacrifice. So anybody that want to do anything, like, you're gonna have to start sacrificing something. Yeah. And I'm just a person that know how to sacrifice.
If someone wanted to start at home care right now, what's the first step?
They just need to go on Google. So I tell anybody, like, if you want to start a home health care or any type of business, but especially home health care, like, you just need to start, like, you need to go to Google and you need to put starting a home health care agency in whatever state, and start pulling the government websites. Because most of those websites, they're going to have, like, oh, if you want to start a home health care agency, pay us to do it. Like, you know, but you want to look for the sites that's going to have .gov, and you want to pull the actual application from the state website that's going to say, if you want to start this home health care company in our state, these are the requirements that we have from the state site. And then you just start knocking them out. And the things that you are having a hard time with, that's when you start like Googling. I mean, we got ChatGPT these days that can literally write everything for you, or research information. And you just start compiling all this information. But even more important than that, they just need to start somewhere. 'Cause I've talked to a lot of people that literally are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to start home health care. And I'm like, oh, when have you been thinking about it? They were like, last 3 or 4 years. And I'm like, what have you done towards it? And they're like, well, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you know how that go, yep. Yeah. And you brought me on stage with you. We did a speaking event in Washington. Are you doing that again? The Nurses Week?
In Nurses Week?
Yeah, so, we went to D.C. together.
So her and her partner have like had some stuff go on between them.
The partnerships.
Yeah, her and her partner had like some very, I don't know, like, I just know, like, I got email and phone call, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be a part of this. So like they kind of broken up and like doing their own like little things.
So you're not doing that no more.
Yeah,
but
no, not doing that.
You kind of said you're doing the mentorship, kind of not. Is this something that we put on the Healthcare CEO podcast if somebody wants to get in touch with you? Yeah. So or you're taking a break from it?
No. So now, like, I'm just being very specific and targeted of who I'm taking into my programs now. So, you know, I done made so much and done so much that I'm at the point now, like, I like my life to be nice and easy.
Peace of mind.
So, you know, trying to, like, I'm not going to take in, like, 50 new clients all trying to pay me 10, 20,000, like, just for the money. No, like, I'm going to pace it out. I'm going to talk to certain people, see if it aligns with, you know, what realistic expectations for them are. And then we go from there. So, yes, you know, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to you. And then, you know, we can see if the alignment is right. And then if it is, then, you know, we could definitely go ahead and take them in. Because, like I said, I used to be the guy, like, whatever they said, I'd be like, let's agree to it. Yeah. But now I set more realistic expectations with people these days.
Okay. So we're going to put a plug in real quick. If anybody wants to reach out to Gooch, you got to go through the healthcareceocommunity.com, log in, register, subscribe, and then we're going to get Gooch on there. We're going to have his course on the Healthcare CEO platform. It's our Healthcare CEO community. What has been the biggest, like the best experience that being a young millionaire in healthcare has brought you? Like, what's the, you know, nothing X-rated, nothing craziness. What's the dopest thing you've done since being this way?
Honestly, it's so much different stuff, but like one of the biggest things to me is just being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I want to say, like, now in the world that I live in now I have fuck you money, and I think that's probably like the biggest thing. When I say like when I go places, like I park my car and take up like 3 spots. I park sideways in places.
Ignorant,
I do ignorant stuff. Like I go to the airport and, like, you know, Delta One, but it's just
this dude called the mall and talking about, he called Lenox Mall. Shout out to Manny, Lenox Mall. He's like, yo, man, I need to park my Lambo in the mall. What's the cost? I'm like, what? Man, he called me like, yo, Gooch wants to park the Lambos in the mall. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's just because now I've noticed like you know having money definitely like things are definitely there. Like you see some people and you just see them walking around and you notice like you can just tell their life is just like on autopilot. Like nothing can get to them. Like sometimes you'll see like a lot of people, everything like sets them off, and those are usually people that are like having money troubles, having family trouble. But then you see some people like anything can happen to them, and they just be like, I don't even care. Like the lighting, like they're just like. Because they got the money to be able just to not care. So now I think that's some of the biggest things. I have the money now just not to care about certain stuff. Like, like how you sent the driver today. Like the driver could have been an hour late and I would just been in the house playing video games. Like I don't even care. Like sometimes I go places and I just get caught in traffic and I just be like, oh well, like I get there when I get. I just don't be caring anymore.
And it's true, man. Because I remember calling you in the morning and you would say, no. So Gooch will text you, right? And then I guess that means he's up because he'll text you at 5 in the morning, yo. I'm like, yo, what? It's like, no, I just text you if you respond. That means you're up and then we'll talk. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. But now he don't wake up but that was the days where you was like doing all your paperwork. Right. Now it's 10:30. Yeah, I woke up. I just got in, Hans. It's 5. I've actually seen the transition.
No, definitely.
And so a lot of things you said make sense. And again, we've already had somebody here with home care tell everybody, the actual steps. But you're saying, hey, go to, and usually it's the Department of Health for that state.
Yeah, Department of Health.
Georgia Department of Health.gov. Go to Louisiana. Department of Health. Start there and put in how do you, home care.
Yeah. See
what the requirements are and go from there. So let's say now I'm licensed.
Yeah.
Got my Medicare, Medicaid numbers. What would you suggest to somebody?
So once you get licensed, I would suggest that you sit down with either your marketing team or with yourself and you start planning out the best way to market and use your funds accordingly and give it like 100%. And like I said, ChatGPT, come up with different ways and then you start working on your marketing material. Because if you just got licensed, then it's time to like start working on your marketing material, which is like making sure your website is good and make sure that your marketing material is good for whichever way that you're about to get ready to market. Because, if you're going to be on the streets handing out flyers to, patients and parents, that's different marketing material than the ones that I'm doing for like a lunch and learn with an actual doctor. And I think a lot of people run into hardships there because they make marketing, like they'll make a flyer and then they'll get that flyer to a doctor's office and then they'll give it to a hospital and then they'll give it to a patient. When essentially all three of those need their own flyers and such. Because if I'm giving a flyer to a doctor's office for the actual doctors and nurses and stuff, then that information need to be a little bit different than I can use different wordage versus giving it to an actual patient, which the patient is going to be more about, hey, more fluffy. This is what we could do for you. This is like the challenges that you see inside of a home versus me giving it to a doctor office, which is going to be more like analytical, which is going to have more information of, hey, when you guys sign up or like, when you guys have a case, then you could just email us over this information right here. And that should be on the flyer, but a patient flyer shouldn't be that. So make sure that the first thing is make sure your marketing materials is good for whoever you're trying to market to, whichever way that you're trying to market, just not try to make that's what I've started to see, because that's what I do. I have one flyer for everybody, but now that I've changed my marketing material to be more direct for whoever I'm trying to give it to, I'm starting to see like better responses from the individual.
Make sure you email me a copy of those flyers.
I got you, brother.
No, it's real. I didn't even know that, but that's the dope idea, because the last time we did that, what's that event you asked me am I going to do again?
Was it Las Vegas?
No, the one just now with
the
died.
Yeah, Blaze. Yeah,
Blaze. Right? And when we was at Blaze, I took your flyer. Yeah, you did. I took his flyer. All I did was change the faces of the people and the name. He's like, yo, is this my flyer? I was like, yep. Yeah, this shit is dope.
That's what makes us good friends.
So now I'm going to take the other three, because that's a dope idea. And I never even thought of that, and I'm in the home care.
Yeah.
But have a flyer that's specific for the person that you're going to reach. Right? If it's the family member, you want to talk about what you could do for that patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's for the doctor, you want to talk about how your business is structured and stuff like that. Yeah, we got to talk more about that.
In the hospital, yeah.
And if it's a hospital,
and if it's a hospital, or if it's like a doctor's office that's like way out in the boonies, and like, on the flyer, I'm going to talk about challenges that they have of, hey, we know you guys out here in the boonies and stuff. I'm worded way different through ChatGPT, but it's like, hey, you guys are out here in the boonies. I know you guys are having a hard time with like, access to different type of nurses and stuff like this. So I'm gonna have a flyer for, for doctor offices that's out there in the boonies and stuff. Dang. Because it's more direct, and then sometimes like inside of just having it for them, like when they read it, they're like, okay, this person knows what's going on out here in this area. And like I said, it's just way different. And I've been seeing a better response from individuals that are like that. And even like the flyers I have for skilled patients and unskilled patients. Like then I got like a flyer that covers both of them, but then I got 2 different flyers that cover like skilled patients versus unskilled patients. If I go to a pediatric doctor's office and they're like, bro, we don't see no skilled patients at all, then giving them a flyer that, like, I could give them a flyer that covers skilled and unskilled, but giving them flyers that cover only unskilled patients is going to, like, reciprocate more for that. Because now I could put more information. Instead of, if I got a flyer that's like a 5x7 or whatever the size is, I'm not really good with the sizes, but a 5x7, like, so even if I look at, like, something like this, if I got a flyer this size front and back, now, if I'm doing skilled and unskilled, now I'm going to have to fit skilled on this side, unskilled, and then whatever else. But now if I know it's a completely unskilled, then I can do all unskilled, I can convey more information on the flyer and utilize the space, and it's more direct towards them, and that can be the change that can actually get somebody inside your program. So
this is the difference of, and what you're doing right now indirectly is showing people how important a mentor is. Yeah. Because even me, I'm like, oh, that's smart, that's dope. But when you tell people to go on Google and stuff like that, the buck stops there. Yeah. That information is only because of experience. A lot of and that's why you charge, hey, look, I got a world worth of knowledge, and that intellectual property, that value goes up the longer you stay in this business. Yes, it does. And so people understand that, because you can get hit with those roadblocks, like you said, but if you ain't talking to someone like Gooch or Brad, I don't know anybody else who does it, or me, that can say, hey, do this. It's just a value that you can't even put a price on. Yeah. Right? Your business acumen is here, and theirs is here. And in this space, they got to elevate and then get mentored by someone like you. How big has Brad been as your mentor? Oh, Brad has been amazing. Brad is always pushing the limits of everything. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, Brad was probably the one person that's probably been, like, one of the biggest, like, one of the people that had, like, the biggest effect on my life, outside of my parents and stuff like this. So, yeah, like, he's helping a lot of people, like, a lot of, if something like his mentees I'm hanging around there, like, some of his mentees got more patience than me and him, which is crazy. Yeah, he'll post every time he has $1 million mentee. Some of his mentees got more patience than me and him. Like, they're doing really, really good. So Brad definitely has been, like, a big help in my life. Even to this day, we're literally like best friends. He tell me all the time, Brad literally be like, he say, Gooch, because I his kid's godfather or something like that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm his daughter's godfather, because he'll be like, Gooch, like, we got a really good friend group that we've been friends for a very long time, but he always come to me, he's like, Gooch, even outside of all the friends, he was like, you're my brother. He said, like, you are my best friend out of everybody else. And Brad and Tronda is so dope, because even though they're big, like, we get invited to, like, game nights. They don't do, like, the social media, oh, we got to post this. It's like, now we're doing a game night, Hans, come through. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it's really like that relationship, not transactional, but authentic relationship. I love them because they're low-key. They live like kings and queens. They definitely do. Like, but they love it, man. Brad's been on, like, TV shows. Shout out to Brad and Tron. What's the name of their home care business? It's GHI. And that's the name of their mentorship? Yeah, it's the name of their mentorship, too. What's the name of your home care business? Next Step Healthcare Service. And what's the name of your mentorship? Home Healthcare Blueprint. So y'all heard that, right? And what's your Instagram? If anybody wants to follow my man Gooch, what's the Instagram? Who is Gooch? WHOISGOOCH. That's right. And you get to see the lifestyle. You ain't going to see too much of his home care. You're just going to see him skiing in Dubai, Colombia. He keeps inviting me to these trips. one day I'm going to take it. You got to come with me, man. I am going to take you, man. I'm going to get this situated. But again, this guy's been on so many podcasts, from Earn Your Leisure to Wallow and Gilly to... So we are blessed to have you here. You know what I mean? Again, we're going to partner up with everybody we partner up with. And again, any questions from the healthcare CEO crew?
Question. What's up, brother? Because you said something about Tiger. We're all very familiar with that. We go to Kennesaw. So is that your car with the gold Lambo?
Yes.
No, he traded it in, though. He traded it in now.
Yeah, I traded it. Yeah.
He got a green one.
Yeah, now I got a green one. Yeah.
That's the $800,000 one we were talking about. So now, introduce yourself.
Yeah. I'm Omar.
Omar. Tim.
I'm
Christian.
I'm Christian, but everybody call me Steve.
So whenever y'all go,
Let me know.
It's on the house. You heard their name.
We use this video. Yeah, I'm gonna say. I gotta get up with you.
Oh no, let me know, man. Like that's one thing.
I just recently crossed.
I'll give you.
Oh wait, was that the one that y'all got the fighting outside of?
That ain't KSU. KSU is not like that.
No. Okay.
Listen.
Well, that's good then.
These guys were referred to me by my daughter because she goes to KSU.
Okay.
But they have their own marketing production team. They are so dope. I'm gonna give you guys Gooch's number.
Yes.
He's always in need of a photographer, videographer. Like we said, it's about relationships. And so and you guys can learn a lot from him. So definitely, and anytime y'all go to Tiger, y'all free.
Yeah, I definitely would take care. No, that's the fun thing that's the good thing about owning.
Just throwing my shit on the floor.
Look, man, I was about to step on it, but now I'm on camera.
Thank you.
But if you guys ever want to come and stuff like that, just let me know. I take care of you. That's one good thing about owning it.
Grilled cheese sandwiches. Go to Foxtail Coffee. Y'all coffee's free now.
Yeah, no, I take care of you, man. Yeah. That's the one thing about it. I love taking care of people. That's the one thing about owning a whole bunch of different stuff.
And he does call me. He'd be like, yo, you at Foxtail? I'm like, yeah, you already paid? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
So he will try to. He watches the camera.
I do.
Like a weirdo. This is weird.
Hey, look, man.
He'd be like, you just came into my store. What are you doing? I'm like, what?
Look, I seen you in there. You was
I know.
in there yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I seen you.
Day before, I got some chips.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Day before, yeah.
Oh, it was day before. Yeah, I seen you come in.
Yeah, it was day before yesterday.
Yeah, it was so funny because my homegirl Lex was in there too.
Yeah.
She
was?
She was the one that was sitting when you walked in. She was sitting down at
Lex that runs your home care?
No.
I didn't even say hi to her.
Yeah, she was sitting down and she was taking off her coat stuff. Then she walked outside like.
What you mean? That's when you know you don't have nothing to do but watch the camera.
No, it's funny.
He even called me, be like, "Yo, what's the camera codes for Angie?" I'm like, "Why, bro?"
Because I'm always watching,
just
man.
Watching.
Yeah,
but go ahead, Christian or Tim. Who's first?
What's up?
I was gonna ask, all the knowledge you were spending. I know you were talking about how you were in college for like 10 years.
Yes.
And you started, I guess, your business a little later on in the game. All of us were like really early in our 20s, and we have this mindset that a lot of people our age don't really, not right now at least, and they want to start their own business and we just want to grow generational wealth. What's your recommendations for starting that or how to build or get money to be able to start with what you're doing? Sometimes I know that's also you have to have money to start your business.
Yeah, well, so the biggest problem I see with young people is you guys have a lot of ideas, but you guys don't even know how much things really cost. And that be the problem. Like you guys, a lot of young people I see, they don't do the actual research first. Like in your mind, so what do you want to do?
I want my own production company.
All right, how much does it cost to start a production company?
I'm not sure.
And that's the problem right there. So it's almost like you're shooting in the dark. It's like the first step you need to know is how much it actually really costs to start the production company that you want. And then start with a CPA and start with somebody that can help with credit and different things like this and utilize credit because that's the biggest factor. Most people I ask that to, they be like, oh, I want to do this and I know it costs money and I know I need money. I'm like, well, how much money do you need to start? And they're like, well, I don't know that. So how do you know you even need money or how much money? You might already have enough money to start the production company or to be able to utilize certain things that you have. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing I see. So to tell anybody or even one of you guys that's young, do your research first to figure out how much it really costs. And then from there, you can set up your life or you can save and then put things together or borrow money from your mom and dad or wherever the case might be. But you have to start with knowing what it takes to start and the licenses that you need and how much all that stuff costs. So that's what I would tell you. Do the due diligence and do the work first because what I've seen a lot of people is having a dream is, to me, having certain type of dreams is sometimes the worst thing in the world because people see me pull up in my cars or see who I am and see the travel and they'll say, man, when I start my production company, I will be able to do that. Or when I start my production company, then I'll be rich or famous, or then I'll be X, Y, and Z. But then they never start because they hold on to the ideal of, I'm going to do this. Or they see somebody being really successful, and they're like, oh, that's going to be me whenever I start. And that dream or goal, because you asked me earlier, what's your goals and focuses and stuff? I told you I don't have any goals and focus. I kind of just go with the flow for the simple fact. Sometimes you can be so goal-oriented that the other blessings in your life you won't even notice because you're like, oh, and then sometimes when you don't reach your goals, you think you're a failure. You could be like, I'm gonna make $1 million in a year this year, and then if you make $700,000, but then your other friends made $2 million, now you feel like a failure. But you be like, man, you actually did some great things. So start now and actually figure out how much it costs. So did I answer your question fully?
Have a target to hit, right?
Yeah.
And then first thing you do is start the LLC, create an account, and then find out what bank you want to create an account with. What banks are favorable for funding? Like Truist is a great bank that once you build a relationship with them, they'll give you money to really start the business. So you want to build relationships, start the LLC EIN. That's only $120, right? So that'll get you started, and open a bank account is only $50. So you're there already getting the ball rolling, and then now you're saying, hey, this is my plan, and this is my opportunity, right? And then my opportunity is going to generate this amount of money for me, right? Healthcare CEO, that's right. Tim, what's up, man?
That was really my question. That was my question right there.
And you know what? I took a Goldman Sachs cohort for 8 months, right? And even with the Goldman Sachs cohort, it's 300 people that they took from throughout the country. I just graduated 2 weeks ago. I was in New York. We did the whole graduation. And even the CEO of Goldman Sachs is a black guy from Brooklyn, right? But what you got to do is understand whatever you do, and in this 8-month class, they took my finances, they took my, my employees. They wanted to see if I was a legit business. But one thing they worked on through the 8 months is what's your growth opportunity, right? And then whatever you figure out your growth opportunity is, what's the growth plan to seize that opportunity? So your growth opportunity is creating a production team, right? What's it going to cost to execute it, and what's going to be the return on that, right? And then you fill in the blanks, because now you have the target. And we didn't do any BTSs for him.
Oh no, this is all I need. I just needed just to say hey.
Now we have the target. We know how to go about getting that done. You see what I'm saying? So have a target, like Gooch said. You know that, then start the process, and chat GTP it.
Yeah,
what is it going to cost me to get? What should be the first steps for me starting a production company?
Yeah. What's up, brother?
Last question.
So basically, I would say I'm one of those young folks that dream about big things, want to do big things, but don't know really where to start. Like, I have an idea, but I don't genuinely know what I want to do.
What's the idea?
So I have a podcast, and I fell in love with creating content. Just doing that podcast, it made me fall more in love with
the creative,
the
creative side. Yeah.
So my question to you is, like, how would you say is a way of how did you find your niche and like expand on it?
So a lot of trial.
Wait, he wasn't watching the podcast? We answered that question.
Yeah, we got it.
You was not. This was producers not listening.
I mean, well,
he was a tattoo artist, and somebody, he doesn't even know if this is his niche. He's just good at it. No. His niche is living life.
Yeah, no. So I always tell people this one. I think we fall into this rut of other people telling us what happiness is. Like, other people telling us, like, happiness. Well, back in the day, it used to be get married, have 2 kids, get a White House with a red door with a white picket fence, and like 2 dogs. Like, go to school, go to college. And that's what they push on us. Even in today's world, what do they push on us? You have to have a significant other to be happy. Like, you have to have a wife or a husband.
You have to have a degree.
You have to have a degree. You have to have kids. Like, and a lot of our happiness is pushed on us on the term of like making money. Like, but now since I've traveled and been through what I've been through in the world, I've started noticing that some of the happiest people are some of the people that don't have anything. They have like the least amount. And with you, I would say, figure out what actually really makes you happy, and then follow that person, of course, in life. Because if you're on the creative side, like you said, and that's what makes you happy, then I would say, like, follow your heart on that part, because you're gonna get a lot of people that say you need to make more money, you need to do this, you need to do that, and sometimes we try to do that stuff, and then we're not happy because of that. And even like money wise and stuff like that, or even the young lady say, I want to start the production company and I want to do this, like, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do to get to where you need to be at in life. So that's another thing. Like, if what you want to do and you're passionate about, like, so sometimes you might have to go a different direction for you to be able to make enough to be able to align for what you actually really want to do. But these are questions you're going to have to sit down and ask yourself. These aren't things that I could be able to actually, like, really help you. That's like, you have to look deep inside. And I always tell people, like, just take a look at, like, where you want your life to be in, like, 5 or 10 years, and then figure out the path of life that you want to go to be able to reach there. Because you might be like, hey, in 5 years, you might be like, I want to be making $1 million a year. Or you might be like, I just want to travel the world and do X, Y, and Z. Because I know people that travel the world now and make $50,000, like, they literally do remote jobs and make like $50,000, $60,000 a year. And they're all over the place because they figured out, like, how to be able to travel on what they have. And they don't care about really making more money because they're like, you sit in the office all day and have all these people you care about and that make money off of you, where I just want to wake up on the beach every day and be able to hang out. And, like, literally that's how and they're happy doing that. So to directly answer your question, I would say figure out what literally makes you happy, like, job-wise, and then figure out where you want your life to be in, like, a couple of years, and then connect the two in between, and then that should be able to help. But if you're on the creative side, then, you might, like I said, want to own a company that does the production and different things like that, but you just might want to be the creative mind and then have somebody else. Because you see a lot of companies these days like, I might own the company, but then I might have somebody else literally run the company, and then I do a very small part of, like, the fun stuff, which would be the creative side. So you might want to look into, like, being able to start a company and then have somebody else do all the things that you don't want to do, and then you just handle the creative side and let them handle, like, all the heavy lifting, because you do want to be the creative. Because a lot of times when you're the creative, like, you don't get to show it because you have to be the CEO or the owner of the company and stuff like that. So a lot of people they don't know how to utilize the tools around them to be able to accomplish different things. So that's where coming to talk to me and Hunts and different stuff like that come in play, because I've seen and done it all. So did I answer your question 100%? I know I went a couple different places, but hopefully I answered.
And I'm going to say, just like, the podcast not making money, right? We just started this, but I love doing it, right? And you guys live in a world right now where people pay for authenticity, right? So the more passionate you are about something, it's going to make you money. Because people go, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like the best time to be original, right? Even, I think CD was telling me, hey, just be yourself. Or Tim, somebody was like, just, one of you guys was like, just be funny and laughable. I think it was you. It was like, yo, be real, be 100, and it's going to get more views, right? So wake up every day, like Goose said, be passionate about something. Real quick story. My daughter went to UGA. Since she was 3, she wanted to be a veterinarian. My oldest daughter, not Jada, right? Loves animals, horses, snakes. She loves it. When she got to college, called me her senior year, said she's changing her major to music her senior year. And I was like, you want to do what? She said, music. I said, okay, cool. And I said, that's what's up. I said, realize you're going to be broke for a little while. And she's like, you're not mad at me? I said, this is your life. Like, you have to do what you have to do. So when you close your eyes at the end of the day, no regrets, right? Think about this. I heard Denzel say it. I'm going to leave y'all with this. And he was quoting, I think, Les Brown. So imagine if all the ghosts of all your ideas were standing above you while you're at your grave. And they look down at your grave and say, we came to you so you could bring us to life. But now we have to die here with you. Right? So like Goose said, just live all those ideas, live them out. So you're not, when you die, you don't have any regrets. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's going to be the true measure of your success, not how much money you make. You feel me? And then I think that'll be, you can be happy regardless because you're doing what you love. Right? And bankers, everybody can see that and people will pour into you. You know what I mean? So, dope.
Yeah, no, it's super dope. Cause
all right, we're running out of time. No,
yeah,
just kidding.
the funny thing is, I met this young lady the other day, and she was talking about TikTok, because I don't have a TikTok. I feel like I'm at the age now, I'm not going to be on TikTok. But she said that she was like, you really need to start a TikTok. And she was like, just because I was ranting about something. I was ranting about stuff. She was like, you just need to be on TikTok ranting about everything and just show, like, what you be doing daily. Because she was like, the cars, the house. She said, that's all nice. But she was like, who you are as an individual person, like your rants and stuff, and just she said that's what TikTok. Funny. Yeah, she said she was like that's what TikTok is about. She was like, now on TikTok they want to see authentic, like they just want to see people living their life. And she was like, it be rich people, it be normal people, and it's just the authentic of just like, what does this guy be doing every day? Mm-hmm. And she was like, but that's like just literally like what you said, just being authentic now is like the new wave.
Paymaster.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and that's what it is now, which is actually kind of funny.
All right, cool. Next time, here's what I'm going to do. When we run out of time, we just turn the lights off. while you're talking. Hey, look, stop backing up. I'm just like CD. They're talking too long. Let's go.
Nah, look, you just
All
sitting
right.
there talking. I just started seeing the screens come off and stuff.
Yeah, Tim's gonna start turning the screens on. That's what we gotta do
people
next
start
time.
all right,
You were supposed to leave long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
But listen, we thank you again, and people want to find you. They're gonna find you on Instagram as Who Is Gooch.
Yeah.
That'll tell you everything. Look, he's got a whole team, so somebody will respond, and we will get his course on the healthcare CEO community at a discounted price. My guys are going to send you snippets so we can do a collab. We out of here, all right? So, again, appreciate you, my bro.
No problem, brother.
Let's go. Let's get the driver here. You know, cats got drivers.